welcome to another episode of Sandy Killer Projects. As you can see, I've already got the car partially apart. There's a reason for that. We just did a video on how to replace the throttle body. So I had to take the back airbox off and the hose from the air cleaner. They come off with a flathead on either side. Same thing with this, comes off with a flathead. There are supposed to be a couple of plastic clips that this sits on. You usually pull the rubber part off with it. This one in my case is broken. It's really common for plasticky stuff to snap. So then also you remove the clip, I believe, off the baro sensor, and then move this stuff out of the way. So the next thing I got to do is get down into the intake, because I've got to diagnose what's going on with this cylinder, and there's too much stuff in the way. So I got to take the intake off, and then we'll get into there. So in the process of getting to the intake off, I've removed this off this clip. As you can see, this is broken. That's why it's held on with a zip tie onto this piece right here. It normally sits on there. This end of the airline goes into the top of the intake. I just move this guy out of the way. Okay, then on the airbox, there's a horseshoe clip that goes in here. These two clips sit on the front, push it out of the way. Right at this point, everything is clear off of the intake except for this hose. This hose just has to be slid back, and then I can unbolt the intake to give me room to get inside that valve cover. So if you've watched any of the videos on the channel before, I've taken this intake off a handful of times now. So I've explained it lots of times, but I'll go through and tell you what exactly I did to get all the parts off of it. That way it makes it easier for you to get it off. There are two 10 millimeters, one right here, one right here. There are two 10 millimeters on this back bracket that sit right here and right here. I have taken this bracket off and notched this back one. The reason why is because it's almost impossible to get it to come loose. There's a 13 millimeter down in here underneath everything that holds the harness in place, right in there, that guy right there. There's a wiring harness attached to it, and it's a double-sided stud. It takes a 13 millimeter. You have to get that stud all the way out to do the notch in the back plate. But if you're already have it notched like I do, then all you have to do is loosen that. So I just loosened it and then push the bracket away, and it's out of the way. It's also got the wiring harness for everything on top attached to it. So you're literally just gonna push it up out of the way. Okay, so then next there are 7 8 millimeters that are two here, two here, two here, and one down in there. And then your intake is loose. It'll come up and out. There's always something. I've done this a million times. I forgot this air hose right here. Slides off the back, and as earlier mentioned, this one comes off of this guy right here, and then we're clear. So it is up and out now. So to get us to this point, I've unscrewed the 3 10 millimeters off of the back of the coil packs. I've also disconnected the plastic pieces from the front side of the intake. I'm not going to take the injector clips off. There's no reason to completely move this harness out of the way. The reason we're here is because the number 1 cylinder is saying it is fouling. So what I want to do is see if the rocker assembly is bad inside of this. These 3.2, 3.6 Pentastar motors are known for having crappy rocker arm assemblies. So I want to get into investigate to see if that's what's caused the cylinder to only work at idle and not under any load. So there are a ton of other parts that are on here. There's 2 little clips on the phasers. I literally just push down on the back of this and these come up. There's a little handle thing that holds them in place. The front one snapped off when I tried to lift it. The back one has some tape on it, so I got to get those loose also, so I can get this off. There's also a couple of wires sitting on the back studs, and then we'll start pulling the bolts for the valve cover. There's also what looks like a crankcase sensor sitting back here that we're going to disconnect. There's lots of little things attached to things that don't need to be there, but because these modern cars, they lay everything in and around and on top of each other and make the wires real short. Everything's attached to everything else. Right, so at this point, just about everything is off. There are 10 bolts that hold the valve cover in place. They are all 8 millimeter. I've disconnected all the little plastic clips off of the back except for one. This on the back, I cannot get it to pop up, so I'm gonna have to lift it, and then where I can visually see it, pop it out. The sensor in the back is just a clip. It had a secondary clip, of course, plastic eclipse brake, so it popped off. Everything is basically ready to come out for this valve cover, and then we're going to look at the rockers on this side right here. Alright, so I got the valve cover off. I want to go back and explain a few things. I said this is a crank sensor, I don't know why, or manifold sensor. This is this sensor in the top of the valve cover is an oil pressure sensor. It tells you if there's oil up on the top. It has to come out because this goes down through the head and bolts in. Also, on the back there is a line that goes in. It helps with oiling for the camshaft, which you can see. This is where it plugs in on the back side of the valve cover, opposite of the phasers. So this and this have to come off. Also, the other thing that I mentioned was I said there's 10 bolts. There's actually 12. There's 5 on each side, and there's one in the back and one in the front. All those have to come off before this can come out. I've already found the damage to the motor, and as you can see, there's a little bit of damage on the cam right here, and underneath that, this rocker, the roller for it is completely dead flat. So because of that, it's worn down this cam, and it's causing this side of the port not to open, which is causing it not to let the exhaust out, which is causing it to not ignite the spark. So that's what's wrong with this engine. Alright, so this is going to do it for this episode of Sandy Killer Project. As always, thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. The next part, I'll have parts. I just went and ordered everything. It's about $400 worth of parts just to get this back up and running, and only replacing the parts that need to be replaced. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We'll keep making more content. Thanks for watching.